Yeah, what kind of books do you have over there?
Uh, some manga over here, here,
Okay, weeb.
comic
Good.
comic books,
Nerd, okay.
and then like actual literature.
Uh, oh, wow, scholar. Okay.
I know, yeah, amazing,
Amazing. I'm also recording.
amazing. Okay, good.
Good. Not a fun
Good. Where did
opening.
where did my mouse go? Hold on. There we go.
So
I
you
found
weren't
it.
ready. You weren't ready to start.
I'm ready now. So that's all that matters. Woo,
um,
there we go.
hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of What Do the Gays Think? Today with me, I have the gorgeous and foxy
Oh,
Pat. How you doing, Pat?
Foxy. So is that my fursona? Am I a fox?
Oh,
Hmm.
If you want it to be, I'm not going to judge you.
You'll end up judging me somehow.
Yeah, I always do. I'm sorry.
I'm sure, yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so the world's on fire.
how about yours? That's the way I like it.
Is
So
is
I
that a
never get
song
bored.
lyric? Oh my God, shut up.
Hey, now you're an all-star.
Shrek, is that you?
That is me. I'm just not green today.
So Pat, what day is today?
Today is Thursday, the 7th of January 2021, but it feels like 2021 has been forever already, or that it never truly started, and this is just December 38th of
December
2020.
38th. Yes. And now finally, do you know when the first day of 2021 is going to be? It's going to be on January 20th. That's actually
Yes,
January 1st. I'm just saying.
that's yeah, they've decided to skip ahead and start then because we all needed a break. Yeah. That's what happened.
2021 was supposed to be the reboot, and then what happened?
It was the sequel.
So if anyone's listening to this, I don't know, maybe our one follower who's listening, you know what happened yesterday, right?
Oh,
Everyone knows what happened
everyone.
yesterday. The craziness at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. got raided, basically, um,
Yeah,
by some Trump supporters. How you feeling, Pat?
I feel like my camera's about to fall over, so I was trying to slowly move it. I feel pretty awful about it, but then again, I'm not, it's not surprising at all. It's exactly what I thought. I didn't mean it's not exactly what I thought would happen, but when it started, I was like, this is exactly where it's going. Um,
Yeah, I don't know what they
yeah.
expected by telling people that the election was rigged. Like, if you tell people that the election was rigged and that it was stolen from them, you expect them to, do something about it instead of,
Yeah.
you know, like, again, I agree with you. I wasn't surprised at all by any of this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was sad that it happened and it totally shouldn't have happened, but, like, the fact that it did, I'm wildly not surprised.
Yes. I remember this is the chain of events that happened. The night before, so that's Tuesday evening, we started
Yeah.
to get the Georgia runoff information. And I was like, oh, everything's going well. Because Ossoff and Warnock were leading for a while. And spoiler alert, they did officially win, in case you hadn't kept up with it. So
Yes.
they leaned for a
Daddy,
while, and I
yes.
was like, "Oh, this is so great!" And I was like, looking at my phone. I'm like, "I'm gonna go to sleep, and then tomorrow morning I'm gonna wake up, and it's gonna be great."
It's
And then
gonna
I
be
woke up the
great.
next morning, and it was still good until the Senate started. I mean, the House and the Senate started looking over the electoral college votes, and then it just went straight to shit,
Went straight
just
down. I was
immediately.
watching it happen live because I was watching the live stream of them
Hmm.
counting the electoral votes because I wanted to see if they would object to certain states and then what would happen
Right.
from there because I was just like interested in what was going to happen. Um, but then they started cutting over to the video of the people on the stairs of the Capitol, and at this point I'm like also working, so I'm in like a meeting with my
Oh
coworkers.
no.
So I'm sitting here looking at the live stream. I'm sitting here like, how did they get up the stairs? Because I looked at it, I was like, what? Like 10 seconds ago, they were all at the bottom of the steps. Now they're all at the top of the steps. How did this happen?
They walked up the stairs. I mean, how do you think stairs work?
And then, and then like, oh, Pat, shut up. And then like, No, there was an elevator along the side too that they took up, a secret elevator. You didn't see that?
Well, how do you think people in wheelchairs get up those stairs?
I'm sure there's some sort of,
Ramp.
handicap access somewhere. Anyway.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah, and then like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, they're in the building now.
Yeah. It kept progressing worse and worse, and then eventually it peaked with that that photo of the furry. I don't know how to describe him. He was in a fur garment, and he was like in the room, and then he was up there just chilling, and I'm like, how did we get here?
And then there was a
And
guy in Nancy Pelosi's office.
yeah,
And he was just chilling with his legs up, like, yo, here I am in the Speaker of the House's office.
just Jay chilling.
And I'm like, and then four people sadly have died from one reason or
Yeah.
another. Oh my God. It was just a wild day yesterday.
I think because we both uh mentioned this, there was a Twitter follower of ours, or I assume they follow us on Twitter because they commented on your tweet asking for, what we should discuss in this episode. So they specifically said, I have it right here, from the lovely at girls, am I right? At girls, am I right? White supremacy and how to address it in this country. So I feel like we should start there, and then, given that this is a sort of current event um, Gab session sequel,
Yeah.
we'll end with the lighter notes of 2021. But I feel like we should get through this big, awful chunk
Oh, have
first.
you picked out some like good events of 2021 so far for
Well,
us to talk about?
I think I got three other things to mention, but they're real quick. This is the meat and potatoes of the meal. That's the little after dinner mint, basically.
Oh, after dinner mints.
Yeah. So white supremacy and how you address it in this country. Um, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Sure, I'll start. So, white supremacy, right? I think this is in reference to the fact that, the police did not react in the same way that they did to the Black Lives Matter protesters when
Yeah.
they were in DC. I remember I saw a picture of the Capitol building with, tons of them like all suited up with their gear on the stairs of the Capitol building during those protests. But during this protest, there was not as many. They were definitely not as prepared for this. And
Yeah.
it makes you think about, okay, well, why are we, when we're protesting police brutality and black people being murdered, why are we so much more ready to contest those protests as opposed to when all these crazy Trump supporters are trying to storm the Capitol building and stop the certification of a free and fair election? Why are we treating them any different? And they're
Mhm.
the ones that actually like did damage to a federal building.
Oh yeah, stole shit, broke shit. Some people, as you said, got killed. Like this is very excessively violent when you compare it to Black Lives Matter rallies, protests, marches, whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, so it's amazing to me how I don't want to say the police response was bad, but like it
Mm,
wasn't good. Um,
yeah,
they should have seen this coming and been more prepared. Like, obviously, if Trump supporters are going to DC to quote unquote fight back against, the certification of the results, you would expect to, put some security at the Capitol building
yeah,
in order to protect that. But apparently, that's not what they did. I don't know what their thought process was behind not having enough security guards over there by that building, but they didn't. And very clearly, they were not as aggressive with that crowd either than with the Black Lives Matter protesters. I even tweeted it out. I said, "Where's the tear gas? Where are the rubber bullets?"
yeah.
You go ahead.
The emoji, this one.
We're like shrugging for people who are listening on the
Oh
podcast.
yes, I'm sorry. This is a visual component. It's me doing the shrug emoji. Like I don't know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get why people are making that comparison, and it's true. Like, why are the protesters being treated so differently? And the answer is white supremacy. That's the answer. Now, how we address it, that's a different question. Um, And the way I think we address it is it has to come from, it can't be us saying it to them. Like us saying, hey, this is blatant white supremacy. Like you're showing your privilege to everyone because, the Black Lives Matter protesters got tear gassed, they got shot at. And, I think that happened later in the night as well yesterday. But it wasn't immediate. Like the Black Lives Matter protesters were peaceful, and these people were literally in the Capitol building, trashing the place. So there's your difference right there. But the Black Lives Matter protesters, most of them were very peaceful, and they still got tear gas. So like, it can't come from us. They're not going to listen to us at this point. The country is too divided. It's too filled with partisanship. Us saying it is not going to do anything. It needs to come from them, and by them I mean Trump. Really, because
Well,
Trump is the bastard that these guys are all listening to. And if Trump says, "Look, we need to address these issues. We need to address, the difference in police response between, the Black Lives Matter protesters and these other protesters that came in, or the terrorists that sacked the building. There was a clear difference there. We need to address that difference." If Trump said that, then I think that we could start making progress. Biden did say it. He's not our president, currently, but also the other side, the people who are the problem, are not going to listen to Biden.
mm-hmm.
So how do we address it? I don't know. What do you think?
uh, well, hmm. Obviously, it's just like it's not a complicated issue in terms of like it, Republicans or conservatives or Trumpies will not be able to understand the whole privileged aspect of it all, and they'll think of it as apples and oranges. They won't even compare themselves to the Black Lives Matter marches and the differences in responses between the two. But honestly, I think most social issues, whether you're talking about racial inequality, homophobia, transphobia, um, most of it comes down to how your society chooses to educate its people.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about, let's say, homophobia and transphobia, there is not enough queer education, especially in those more religious southern states.
Yeah.
Um, because we get to pick and choose. The federal government doesn't have a hand in choosing exactly what each person in school learns. But I feel like if you have that education growing up, you're way more open to understanding other people's points of view. So when it comes to things like racial inequality, white privilege, you have all these history textbooks that place the white American man at the center and the protagonist of history in this country
Protagonist.
when they're clearly not. But like, yeah, like growing up, when I would any history course I took, except for like world history that dealt with other countries, every American history or American political course I took, the white American man was at the center of it, and it was skewed as the protagonist of history. That they were always on the side of good, or like they were always doing the things like making technological or scientific leaps. So
Yeah.
when you have this skewed history, people grow up thinking that white people in this country are amazing. Now, people of color obviously have their context of their communities, their family, their history to counterbalance the white history they learn in school. So they understand the reality of it. White people have never been checked in that way. So they get to keep thinking that their privilege is just this inherent thing they have that, it's like it's always been that way, so they've never had to question it, kind of
And
thing.
they don't even realize that they have it is the thing.
Right,
The
right.
fact that they were able to just stroll into the Capitol building with little to no resistance,
Hmm.
that by itself is a testament to their privilege.
Yeah. And they
So,
won't be able to see the difference. Like if you were like, "Hey, do you think a black person or a brown person, a colored person could do that?" They'd be like, "Yeah, sure, why not? I don't see why not." And it's like, why not. Don't lie to me. Like,
uh,
shut the fuck up.
Literally so wild. So you think it's in our education system?
I think that's a good place to start addressing it. Obviously, there's so much more, but I think education reform and community outreach, specifically community outreach for those who aren't in the education system anymore. So, anyone who's older, obviously, or just those that maybe didn't finish their education who are out working like a regular job, they need community outreach by people within their community that do have these sets of beliefs, that do understand white privilege, that do understand the racial divide in our country to go out and kind of, I don't know if it should be like knocking on doors or holding town halls or something, but
hmm
it should be education in the classroom and then like, social education outside of the classroom because you have these hot spots, especially with Trump supporters, of like these white, young, uneducated men. And it's like, well, they're uneducated, like they're ignorant to certain things because they've just never had it brought up to them. They've never had to experience it. So of course they're going to be like, no offense, but like dumb about certain things. They don't have the mental or the I should say the empathy and the self-reflection to understand, oh shit, my whiteness does give me so many things that other people of color don't have.
I mean, you see some of these people grow up in these such white areas, so white that like it's possible. I'm not saying it's not. It's possible that some of these people have never seen a person of color like in
Oh,
their
I'm sure.
lifetimes. In the like really
Little pockets of
rural,
area, yeah.
yeah, the really rural America that is so like knit into each other, like and they don't go
Yeah.
anywhere. Like there's a chance they have just never seen a person of color except on the media.
Yeah.
And if they're watching just like Fox News or any of the other conservative networks, the picture that is being painted for them of people of color, that's the only picture that they're getting, and they don't get to experience it in person. So education is one way, but also like some sort of way of getting these people, I don't know, what would you even call it, like getting them soaked in reality.
Getting them cultured, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
yeah, it's I don't know the exact means of how you do it, but there's this thing, if you for white people who are questioning their privilege and questioning their, part in the oppression or the undermining of people of color, you shouldn't be going to your friends who are people of color. Like you shouldn't be going to black people, Indian people, minority groups and asking like, "Hey, what did I do wrong?" or like, "What can I do to help?" You need to take it upon yourself to do those things. So those communities or these people, like you said before, it has to come from them to really make a difference. It has to come from their like-minded people kind of converting themselves over. But they do need some sort of outside influence to kind of get them started. So if it means having like mass events, town halls where they just go over like the real history of the United States, where like they'll just show Ava DuVernay's The 13th Amendment Netflix documentary. Just show that on a large screen somewhere just to get the conversation started because that's a
yeah,
great movie.
good movie, good movie. I saw it. Very good,
Yeah.
very informative. I learned a lot. And I was like, I didn't know any of it. And I was like, what is our education system? Why didn't I know any of this?
That's the thing though, like because you and if you're young, you don't even question it because you're like, it's history. I'm learning it in school. It must be right. The teacher wouldn't teach me a lie. Like that's not good.
It's not even that they taught us a lie. It's that they taught us such a whitewashed version of what happened. They
Yeah.
like left out all the they left out all the people of color basically. They're just like
Someone
bleh.
poured yeah, someone poured bleach on a textbook. It bled out all the color and then just left the white people.
Yeah, and then like it left all the white people and then like Martin Luther King and that's it. Martin Luther
Ye-
King and Rosa Parks were the only ones left.
Yeah, and Martin Luther King is painted in such like a nice. I mean, he was a good person. I just mean the way white history books represent him is this kind of non-combative, very easygoing person. When in reality, he was like, "Hey guys, we gotta like start some shit up." Like he wasn't inciting riots, obviously, but he wasn't as like this kind of. He didn't. I don't think he really liked what was happening, but he's always painted as this kind of like very socially just person even towards white people. And I'm like, I don't think that's true at all.
Yeah, I think I forget who said this, but someone said it, and they were like, if Martin Luther King existed today and he was driving the Black Lives Matter movement, people would hate him. And
Yeah,
or if our conservative society existed back then, they would hate Martin Luther King. Like
yeah,
unequivocally, they would hate Martin Luther
yeah.
King. And it's
He
like,
wasn't making many friends. Let's just say that.
yeah, so I mean, you have to think about it. Oh my I just got a text that was pretty funny. I'll tell you about it in a second. Um you have to think about it. So why are these people who are seemingly always on the wrong side of history? Why do they continue to be on the wrong side of history? It's like, haven't you learned your lesson over the last 50 years? The last 100 years? Why do
Um,
Go ahead.
hmm. I don't know. It's hard for me to it's hard for me to empathize with them because it's I'm already so biased to be more liberal and socially conscious of what's happening. So I don't know. I don't know. It's white culture for them. It's like white rural culture. I don't know.
Yeah, you're also higher educated. You're on your way to your PhD. A lot of these
Right.
people, if anything, they'll get a high school degree.
Well, I did say that education is important.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you see it all the time. Like, this is why I think universities is so important, and also why free public college is also important. Because
yes.
when you go to college, you are, like I said, like soaked in reality, literally, because you are now experiencing all of these other people. You're hearing their experiences. You're getting to know them. That
Yeah.
kind of drives you to, sympathize with them, and you won't have that skewed perception of people of color anymore.
Oh my God. This is okay.
Yep.
I don't all right. To any of my family members that listen to this, which I don't think they do, but should any of my family members listen to this, sorry. So I have a cousin who lived with her family, my uncles and aunts, and her siblings, and they all lived in like let's call it woodsy Pennsylvania, like
Hmm.
just thickets of woods, and people are dressed in camo often. They think it's the South, kind of. They're hunting a lot. Um, uh, I don't even know exactly where it is. I forgot the name, but they kind of live in their own little echo chamber. I've heard some very suspect things from them
Hmm.
about, some racial stuff, some
Hmm.
sexist stuff. But anyway, my cousin at one point moved to what, Chicago? Chicago? Or Seattle? Seattle. I think Seattle.
Okay.
Maybe. But I was so happy for them because I was like, you got a chance to branch off away from this echo chamber you live in and to be more in, Seattle is more of like I wouldn't say younger person city, but it's a city where a lot of people live, a lot of different people live. So you
Yeah.
kind of get to experience life outside of the woods. And it speaks to what you said. If once you, especially once you leave home and you go away to college somewhere, let's say you're dorming or your college is out of state or whatever, you get to experience a lot more intersectionality of multiple groups of people and multiple personalities and multiple ways of life. And it's just, it makes you a wider, better person.
Yeah. I mean, once you understand what other people go through, once you're, again, I'll say soaked in reality, whether that means going to a public college, going to any university, or moving to a city, like
Yeah.
once you start to be around uh, a wider breadth of people, then you start to, that's why I think that people in cities and also people who get higher educations tend to lean left because,
Yeah.
they are engrossed in all these engrossed in reality. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah, I feel like, especially like with higher education, when it comes to things like climate change and mostly, I guess climate change is the real issue, but like once you start to understand how certain things work, especially in the environment, if you're, let's say, in the science field or if you're into environmental protection, like you start to quickly realize how important it is as an issue and
Mm-hmm.
the effect it's going to have on people, and especially in their personal lives. And when you don't understand that, you are very ignorant to it. So you don't think of it as a real thing or a thing that matters. It's just made up. Like, sure.
Especially if you're in like middle America and you're so far away from the shorelines where people are saying like, given climate change in 10 to 20 years, like some of these cities, uh, they could be underwater. Like,
Then you have Ben Shapiro saying, "Yeah, but they'll just sell their houses and move." And then you have that meme where the guy's like, "Sell them to
sell
who?
them to
Who are they
who?
selling it to? Like, who's gonna buy it? What, underwater housing? Like, come on, Ben, don't be a half-wit."
I hate Ben Shapiro so much. Maybe we'll do a podcast episode about how terrible Ben Shapiro is. That'd be fun.
Him and Tommy Loren.
Oh my God, Tommy Loren. Who else? Who's
Uh,
who's the Candace Owens? Her too.
who's Candace Owens? Which one's
She's
that?
like she's the worst because she uses the fact that she's a black woman to say
Oh
like,
yes,
um,
yes.
yes, to say like, oh, black women can have conservative values. You should listen to me. And she uses that fact and parades it around to be like, hey, like
Yeah.
I'm the black voice for the conservative movement, and it's like it's terrible. It's awful.
We should also talk about that gay Trump supporter on TikTok. That one,
Oh my
yeah,
God,
him, and
yes.
we have to talk about that crazy NRA lady who is always at the NRA. She's this white woman always at the NRA meetings, going off about how like gun control isn't like shouldn't be a real thing, and how I want to just, like, I just want to like scream at her for like 5 seconds, like, why are you doing this? Why
The-
are you so
oh
evil?
my God, the TikToker's name is Christian Walker, I think.
Yeah, because his father like knew Trump and some garbage like that, and how all of his if anyone wants to like vomit, just watch his TikToks. Instant vomit. Like,
Oh, someone should check up on him after yesterday. Like what happened to him?
honestly, because I know he was going through a bit of a down spiral when Biden was starting to win and all of the cases for fraudulent electoral votes or fraudulent votes were being dismissed. He was like
Hmm.
starting to really go through it. So Honey is probably in his room pulling out his hair at this point.
Oh, he's crying. What's hilarious to
That
me about him is that he was one of the guys who was like, "Yeah, bring back manly men." Like he was agreeing with Candace Owens with
oh,
the
because
whole
of Harry Styles.
yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, bring back manly men," and he's like the least manly man in existence. So like, boy, what are you talking about?
Side note, Harry Styles in any dress, any state of dress, I should say, dressed, undressed, dressed as
Oh,
a man, quote unquote, dressed as a woman, quote unquote, even though clothes have no gender, he could
say it.
rail me.
Destroy your guts.
He could rail me. Like, get on the nonstop, uh, just 20. It's a lot. It's a
It's
lot.
a
He could do a lot to me. He could do a lot to me. In anything. In that dress he had, in a suit, on a car, in a plane, the whole
ah.
green eggs and ham thing.
Oh my God. Um, right. So that text message that I got that I wanted to bring up, just to take this
Oh,
away from
right.
this conversation that
Yeah,
we're having
yeah.
about Harry Styles. This text message I got that said, "It's my dad." He says, Betsy DeVos resigned."
Good. Because that's another woman, sorry, another person. There's also women too. Like, why do women flock to the Republican Trump? Like, it's so sexist. Why do some women do it? I don't know.
White woman.
Why? Well, there was, I think, wasn't his transportation person an Asian woman? She resigned too.
She did. Yeah, she was an Asian woman. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, why?
I
Why?
don't know these people. I don't know. But it's mostly white women because I think like the percentage of Trump for black women is like it's some ridiculous. It's like 95 to 5% who
Oh,
voted who voted. Like it was 95% Biden, 5% Trump.
yeah. I was like 95 Trump. What?
No, sorry. The other 95% Biden. It was some crazy statistic like that for black
Yeah,
women.
it's a very low number for black women for Trump. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for Candace
Uh,
Owens. So
well, I don't recognize her as even existing. So
that's honestly good on you.
anyway, I feel like the main takeaway from yesterday was the idea of white privilege, white supremacy, and the shit that white people can get away with that people of color can't get away with. And then of course everyone made the Black Lives Matter comparison, which was totally valid. Now it's over. They went. Congress reconvened. They got through all the bullshit. Biden Harris administrations come in, certified,
Uh,
fresh, 7 days a week.
Daddy Ossoff is gonna be my
Oh yeah.
senator. Not
So
my
now,
senator.
not you can move to Georgia, honestly.
I could.
So yeah, now the Democrats have in January, on January 20th, they have the House, they have Congress, they have the president, they got everything. They got everything covered. Um, do you think with it all locked down, that Biden will go in strong on his first term, really quick, and just start hammering shit out?
He's got to. He's got 2 years before, likely, unless the Republican Party falls apart, which it could after what happened yesterday. Um, he has to go in strong for the next 2 years because in 2 years, historically we know that the midterm elections during a presidential term they tend to lose power in Congress. So if Biden doesn't get shit done in the next 2 years, most likely he might lose the House. The House is not looking too good. And he could lose the Senate too. The Senate is only a 50-50 majority, 51 to 50 if you count VP Kamala Harris. It's a
Yeah.
very, very slim majority. He can lose both very quickly. Um,
Yes. But like what I mean was hammering shit out. I should have prefaced with, or I should have corrected myself. Will he start hammering out real progressive shit? Because I'm sure he'll push some laws and whatever through, but like, will the things he will the things that he's going to do be progressive enough for where we're at as a country? Like, are we going to get the COVID relief in terms of $2,000 stimulus? Are we going to get really quick climate correction or climate change initiatives? Are we going to get student debt cut by some percentage? Are we going to get free public college? Like, day one, like, is he going to just like be fucking writing shit, throwing it around, having people stamp it, making it official? Like, I know he's going to do
um,
stuff, but is it going to be progressive enough for what the younger Democrats, the liberal Democrats want?
here's what I think. I don't think it's going to be as progressive as people want, and I'll tell you why. The
Thank
Senate
God.
majority hinges on one man, and he is a man from West Virginia. His name is Joe Manchin, and he is basically a Republican. He's a Democrat, but he is basically a Republican. He's
Hmm.
very, very moderate slash conservative because he's a West Virginia Democratic senator. He has to be. If he doesn't, reach across the aisle and vote with the Republicans, sometimes he will lose that spot in West Virginia.
Hmm.
Um, so they have to basically because his one single vote can thwart all of Biden's plans,
Hmm.
meaning that
Unless they get a Republican or two to vote for something.
yeah, that too. They could get, a Susan Collins or a Lisa Murkowski or a Mitt Romney to vote for some of the things that Biden may want to do if they're willing to.
Yeah.
Probably more likely to get, Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski. But, Joe Manchin, he's the one Democrat that makes the majority. So if they want to get any legislation passed through, it basically you got to get his say and make sure that he agrees with you. So
Yeah.
do I think that the legislature that gets passed in the next 2 years, do I think it will be super progressive? No, I don't think so. I don't think it'll get past the Senate.
Well, shit.
Again, unless they get, a Susan Collins or a Lisa Murkowski to agree with you, um,
Yeah.
which again you have to reach across the aisle and appease some of the conservatives in order to get anything through. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Although
I think
Joe Manchin did vote to impeach Trump, so that's a good thing for him.
yeah, I think given yesterday's events, that some Republicans are going to be a little more flexible on some things,
Hmm.
especially COVID relief things. I think a lot of Republicans are going to be way more flexible on COVID relief just because of how much their constituents are suffering from it. And I also think, given the events yesterday, that other things may be a little more flexible, maybe like slightly liberal, uh, progressive things.
Oh
But then
yeah.
again, Biden can flex his executive power and he could he could start doing executive orders.
He
I mean,
could.
not a lot of people liked that Trump did it a couple of times because they thought he was kind of abusing that power, but Biden could be like, "Hey, I got the power." Honestly, I just don't know if Biden has the gall, the stones.
The wherewithal. Is that a word?
Yeah, that's a word. Well, that's I think that speaks more to his mental capacity, which I think is fine, but a lot of people think is not fine. But I ain't talking about his
Mm.
balls. Like, does he have the balls to get in there, not to uh, masculinize it, but like, does he have the stones to get in there and be like, I see this country kind of falling apart around me. I have to give kind of like big scale relief to these people, or they're gonna get unhappier and unhappier. So he just like, all right, executive order, student debt cut by some percentage, executive order, public college free. Like these are the progressive things people want to feel better, at least to feel like their government is trying to make their lives better.
Yeah. I definitely think we'll get additional COVID relief. Joe Manchin, while he leans conservative in a lot of things, I don't think he would. I don't think that's a negotiating point for him. I think he'll definitely vote for COVID relief.
Good.
You might have. I think he'll vote for some climate change initiatives too. But when it comes to cutting student debt, free public college, Medicare for all, I don't know if you're going to get a Joe Manchin to vote for you on those things.
Well, Joe Manchin, I mean, I hope you don't keep your seat then.
Oh, well,
I
no,
hope you
I hope he keeps his
I
seat
hope it
because that'll go to a Republican if it doesn't.
I hope a Democratic challenger takes his seat.
Oh, that's a good hope, but it's West Virginia. You're probably not going to get that.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home.
Mountain Mama.
Mama. We don't have the rights. All right, we don't have the
Oh,
rights.
we don't have the rights, right? I'm sorry. It's
Well,
not like we're
I'm
making money
tired of
off this
this
podcast
topic.
anyway.
I'm tired of this topic. No offense to what happened yesterday, but I kind of got real depressed afterwards, and the rest of my day was ruined. I barely worked, so I think we have talked ad nauseum about this. I feel like enough people have seen and heard enough.
Right.
Let's hope it gets better. But I want to talk about how, in other ways, 2021 has also been the longest year, even though we're only
The
7 days in.
longest year. It's been a week.
Literally a week. So I've got a few other quick topics. Obviously, we need to talk about Kanye West fucking Jeffree Star.
Oh my God. I literally,
So,
this is the same day. It's all happened yesterday. Go ahead.
so I woke up to the news, besides the runoff news and the election news, to the rumor that I hope is a trumer that Kanye West and Kim Kardashian are getting divorced because Kanye West fucked Jeffree Star. Now, for those of all 7 listeners and viewers combined, Jeffree Star is a beauty mogul, basically. He's this
Mhm.
very, very gay, very tattooed, very gaunt, white, pasty white man who makes a lot of makeup and sells it, yada, yada, yada. And he's been canceled several times. He has like a tumultuous
Ooh,
social media presence.
ooh, many
He
times, many
had,
times.
oh, he had that business with James Charles and Tati and Shane Dawson.
Ooh, yeah.
It's all wild. So the mental image alone of this happening though. Because Kanye West, I think it was confirmed. I can't remember, but he obviously suffers from a mental health disorder.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they specifically said it was bipolar disorder, but he had that whole thing where he wanted to run for, president, and then Kim Kardashian was kind of standing by his side, but like, kind of acknowledging the fact that he wasn't exactly well. So now from what I've read, it said that they had separated and that they might have been in counseling, but they might get a divorce. So
Hmm.
Jeffree Star bottoming for Kanye West though. Like 2021 already fulfilling my fantasies.
Or what if Jeffree Star tops Kanye West? That's what I wanted to be.
I just I'm not here to stereotype what a bottom or a top looks like. But
But does anyone remember that whole thing about Kanye West liking fingers in his butthole? Do we all remember that?
oh
Do
yes,
we all remember that?
yes. So maybe Jeffree Star is getting
Maybe?
his little cosmetic wand up Jeffree Star or Kanye West's ass. Who knows?
Mm-mm-mm.
Okay, great. So that happened, and I really went. This is what I hope. I didn't have it on my bingo card for 2021, but I hope going forward that Kanye West and Jeffree Star have a lovely relationship together.
Oh my God. Who was the one who said that? It totally makes sense that Kanye West was a repressed gay. Who said that?
I think Anthony said that, I think.
It does. It kind of makes sense a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. So I think they would be, I want to see them get like paparazzi photos of them out at like a cafe. They're both in their masks, they're holding hands. I would actually kind of love to see that.
Also,
Um,
where did can I ask where this rumor came from though? Because I'm not even sure where it came
TikTok.
from.
It came from a
TikTok?
TikTok. I think the person who owned the TikTok alleged that they were somehow in the know of the Kardashian West relationship status.
Right.
I think Jeffree Star responded with something very vague. I think he's just using it for the clickbait. I don't think it actually happened,
Right.
but he'll do anything to keep up his notoriety or his infamy,
Any
probably. But
any publicity is good publicity, I suppose, when you're in that kind of world.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt him to be attached to Kanye West, and Kanye West probably doesn't care about Jeffree Star. So, I mean, it doesn't actually do anything. It's just the strangest rumor I've ever heard.
Didn't wake
Okay.
up. Didn't wake up expecting that. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Another thing, the Earth is spinning faster.
Yeah, you said that. What does that mean? What are we talking about?
The Earth is spinning faster, so the days are technically shorter.
How much shorter? How much faster?
Well, I don't know the speed in which it's faster, but I do know the time in which it's shorter. July 19th of 2020 was the shortest day ever recorded. It was 1.4602 milliseconds shorter than the standard.
Wow.
So scientists are considering adding negative seconds to the time.
Negative. Did my eye roll
Because
come
so
through the
yeah, I saw
video?
it. So basically, there are two sets of time, right? There is atomic time, and then there's our time, like our solar time, based on the sun and sun and moon and the tilt of our planet.
Right.
We like to keep these things aligned so we can, work in physics and things like that on atomic time, and then be able to correlate it to actual solar time. So we don't like when one is kind of off, not synced up with the other one. So the idea is that we might add negative time to kind of correct for this faster spin. But
Oh.
basically, the reason why this could be important is like things with satellites, anything that's timed for information or for technology. I don't know if 1.4602 milliseconds really will affect any of it.
Right.
I'm not a technician like that or a scientist in that field, but they're having all of these kind of the time scientists, literally the people who just study time, are like wondering what they should do about this. But I was trying to find out why. Um, like why is it faster? Because this is like the fastest it's going in 50 years. So this is
Oh
for some reason just
wow.
happening.
Can I
I mean,
ask before you tell me why it's spinning
oh
faster? Can I
yeah, yeah,
ask?
yeah.
Does this mean they're gonna send us back in time? Can we? Are we going back to 2020?
Yeah, they're gonna keep shaving off time until we've literally went back to December 31st, and here we
Here
are.
we are back
Back.
again.
uh yeah, so yeah, here we go. Planetary scientists are not concerned about the new finding. They have learned that there are many factors that have an impact on planetary spin, including the moon's pull, snowfall levels, and mountain erosion. They've also begun wondering if global warming might push the Earth to spin faster as the snow caps and higher altitude snow begins disappearing. But computer scientists are concerned about the shifting spin speed. So much of technology is based on described true time.
Hmm.
Uh, so people are saying that we should shift from solar time to atomic time, that we shouldn't even concern ourselves with the sun because it's a bad way of measuring time, given that you could have different speeds of spin.
Right.
So atomic time is constant and it's constant everywhere. So you don't have to worry about it being a problem.
What is the difference between atomic time and solar time?
I wish I knew the exact difference.
Okay, maybe we could talk about that some other time then.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm like, wow, the Earth, because I was reading that physics book and now the Earth is spinning faster, so everything's 2021 is more chaotic than 2020. And I'm like, please stop. I've had enough.
Oh my God, you texted me the other day. You were like, if someone looked in a telescope and saw our planet, we'd probably be dead by the time they saw it. And I was like, why are you telling me this?
That's because depending on your perspective in the universe, where you're looking could either be in the future or in the past. And just reading that was enough for me to close the book and be like, I gotta go to bed.
For those who don't understand physics out there, it's because light only travels so fast. So when you look up into the sky and you see a star, you're most likely seeing that star like how many light years in the past? Like potentially millions of years in the past. I don't know, because
Yeah.
light takes so long to travel across the universe. The
Yeah.
light that you're seeing from the stars is actually from quite a long time ago.
Yes. It's just been traveling forever to come see you. It's like a
Yeah.
gift.
Ah.
Uh, but yeah, did you know? Oh, something really wild. This will be the last scientific thing I give. So the Big Bang happened, right?
Yeah.
This is
Mm-hmm.
so. But when before it actually expanded, the universe was still infinite and it was really hot. It was a really hot, dense place, and then it expanded. And then the heat radiated outwards as the universe expanded, and we can pick up on that heat radiation today,
Hmm.
even though it happened billions and billions of
Billions
years
and
ago.
billions.
It's called something like cosmic background noise. It's this background noise that permeates the entire universe, and it's always there because it's always radiating away from us.
Oh.
And because space is this really good vacuum, you know, entropic forces, take a much longer time to reduce, movement. So, those things could go and go and go and go, and they probably won't slow down or stop for quite some time.
Wow. And they're still going
Still going to this day.
to this day. To this day.
Well,
I want to lay down on the counter. Okay, no.
oh my God.
And I
Yeah,
still
so
love it to this day.
that was my little 20. I don't know if anything else has happened in 2021. Did you know anything that happened within the last 7 days?
Um, no, not in particular. We didn't really talk too much about the Senate runoffs, honestly. Which I think we were initially, when we were going to do this Gab session on our Sunday recording sessions, we were probably going to talk about the Senate runoffs, obviously before the insurrection happened at the Capitol building.
Yeah. Before there was this mob.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I
So
think that's, they won.
they did win,
Cool.
and
Cool.
I very much appreciated the fact because it. If anyone listened to our 21 prediction episode, which was maybe 2 episodes ago, I did say that I predicted that both of them would lose, and I thought that Kelly
Yes.
Loeffler and David Perdue were going to win because I thought it's Georgia. Most likely, the Republicans are going to win. But it turns out telling your voter base that the election was rigged is not a good way to go get them to vote. So, it,
Yeah, I mean, way to sow distrust.
I mean, it be that way, don't it? I mean, they said they were going to boycott the election, and they did, apparently.
You're goddamn right.
I personally don't know if that's the reason they lost or if it was just higher turnout amongst, the left communities within Georgia. I don't know what the reason was. I'm
I
just
mean,
speculating.
it was Stacey Abrams. That's the reason.
Stacey Abrams was most definitely a huge factor, if
The
not the
reason for the
factor.
season. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally, this woman was like needs a chiropractor. She carried the election on her back.
Oh my God, she did. I'd let Stacey Abrams peg me, honestly.
Oh, okay. Wow, that was a riveting episode. But I think we're at time, right? I think we're at time.
We're at 48 minutes. I did want to ask you one
Oh, right.
question.
Sure,
Um,
ask it.
so now that this whole thing has happened, this Capitol insurrection, I'm bringing us back to the topic for 2 minutes.
No, good. Make it full circle.
Yeah, we're bringing us right back. Do you think, or what do you think it means now for the GOP and the Republican Party? Do you think it means that they will shift gears and like remove themselves from Trump, or do you think they'll just keep going the course?
Well, I mean, I think we've already seen that there's some Republicans, like senators and congressmen and Congress people, who've already distanced themselves, and they're like, no, no, that's not us. And then you have the other ones, obviously, that are sticking around. I think yeah, I think moving forward, I think the Trump rhetoric, whether he's there or not, is still going to permeate and exist. I think it's very much going to be like an Empire First Order kind of deal from Star Wars,
Mm.
where the Empire went away, but then the First Order just kind of rose up and took its place. It's very much an evil phoenix that keeps dying and coming back, and you can't You just can't kill the thing.
Can't get rid of it.
So I think, yeah, Trump will be gone. It's just going to take a new form. It's going to be some young white man senator who like comes up through the ranks and becomes their new idol that they worship,
Josh Hawley.
basically. No, no, I'm not. I'm not spending precious airtime talking about that twit. All right,
Okay.
no,
Okay. That's fine. That's
no,
fine. We don't need to talk about random annoying people in the Senate. Anyway,
yeah.
I cannot wait until January 20th, 2021, when Trump leaves the news cycle forever. I'm going to
Yeah,
be so happy to not hear about him anymore.
yeah. I'm counting down the days. I'm waiting in anticipation. I'm on the edge of
And
my seat.
I can't wait to see what mainstream media is going to be talking about after Trump leaves, because he's been the center of mainstream media for 4 years.
Well, that's the thing. I for a while was like, it's still gonna be Trump because he's still gonna be tweeting and shit. But now that Facebook and Instagram banned him and hopefully Twitter follows suit, could we just could we just censor him forever? Like that would be great because then yeah, then they'll have to move on to something. But I think if he has access to any social media, TikTok, anything,
Oh my God.
he'll be doing something.
Imagine Trump getting TikTok.
He would know how to operate it first. He'd make some dumb videos, and then he'd get a hang of it, and then he'd just spew out garbage every day.
Oh my God. Okay, we are time, so let's wrap up here. Thank you everyone for listening to this episode of What Do the Gays Think? If you don't follow us on
Thank you.
Twitter, our Twitter is WDTGT Podcast. Go ahead and tweet us some topics that you may want us to talk about. We talk about politics, we talk about science, we talk about general random gay
Everything.
things, we talk about anything that we want, and we always say, what do we think? So go ahead and give us a tweet, give us a shout out. We're also launching our Twitch. I don't If this episode airs after we actually have our first stream, I don't know. It probably will.
It
Um,
probably would.
yeah, but tomorrow, Friday the 8th, we are having our first stream. So if you missed that, come around. We're going to be streaming a lot more often. Our Twitch is twitch.tv/what do the gamers think. That's GAYMERS. What do the gamers think?
Yes.
Come find
Yes.
us.
Yes, and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. We
Because
love to hear from you guys.
yeah, we need some views, and soon I'm just gonna have to start an OnlyFans to get this baby going.
Oh my, oh my. I will subscribe. You know I will.
Mm.
Anyway, so I am Matt Klubeck.
I am the cameraman filming Jeffree Star and Kanye West's first porno, which Kim Kardashian will see, and she'll have a flashback to her sex tape.
Uh,
Patrick.
okay.
See you
All
later.
right, bye.